If you've been following along and have never joined a design boot camp, I'm going to encourage you to sign up. It's 5 hours of workshops and we have live versions going on often so you can come and ask questions. Go to www.designsweetcourses.com/designbootcamp. If you have been struggling to get sales from your design work or understanding what you really need to do to make money, I have the workshop for you. On September 23rd, I'm hosting my first ever Profitable Designer Workshop. This 1-day, 3-hour workshop is only $97, but I have a discount for all my podcast listeners. Go to carinagardnercourses.com/profit and put in the code podcast for $50 off. I can't wait to see you more profitable. Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life. So this last year has been really different with COVID. And we're continuing to see some different things, but it does seem like things are kind of letting up with the vaccination and other things. But I have been thinking a lot about negative thoughts. And no, not myself having negative thoughts, but just generally negative thoughts and how we work through them, because I'll have negative thoughts once in a while or things that kind of bring me down. Not necessarily self-doubt, although that can be a part of it for sure. So I thought we would talk a little bit about it today because I feel like this is like the whole thing around imposter syndrome. Because if you don't have negative thoughts or things that are like kind of bringing you doubt or bringing you down, then you're probably not going to have imposter syndrome, right? And then there are lots of people who have negative thoughts who don't have imposter syndrome. They just have like that negative self-talk, like that's not good enough, that's not pretty enough, that's not as good as X, Y, and Z. So there's like the comparison aspect. And so I thought we could talk about it today in terms of what can we do to bring our creativity up. And one of those things is to get rid of as many doubtful, negative thoughts as we can in our head, right? Like the more that we're able to push those things out of the way, the more empty space there is for creativity and love and joy and gratitude. And when we have all that negative stuff kind of taking over our brains or our mind space, then it's really difficult to just like dig deep and start being super creative, I think. Okay, so I think there are a couple of different types, right? Okay, so they're the people who have like the doubt or the negative thoughts and they work through it. Like they're like process people. So they'll like just keep going and doing to process it so that they can get to the end result. Like they'll just keep working even though, okay? And they won't take any kind of breather whatsoever. And then I think there's the second person who is totally immobilized by the doubtful, negative, or hurtful thoughts, okay? First of all, recognize which one you are. Are you like a process person? Are you just like someone who like bulldozers their way through, okay? And I'm not saying one or the other is bad or worse than the other. Are you someone who bulldozers your way through the process and sometimes just gets super frustrated because you're just like bulldozing through? Or are you someone who like cannot create art at all or do anything creative at all because it like you are so immobilized by whatever doubtful, negative thoughts are going on in your head, like you can't do anything at all, okay? I'm actually very curious about this because I think there's a little bit of both out there, right? And you might be a little bit of both. There's a chance, right? I do think the immobilization is tough because I don't know exactly what you have to do to get over it other than clearing out the negative thoughts, which can be a number of different things. Like you've got to find your happy place, right? So, and then same with the bulldozering. I actually think you need to take a second to breathe and take some big deep breaths and like calm down for a second. And I will say I'm more of the process person where I'm bulldozering my way through. And I don't think my work is very good when I do that. What happens is if I don't take a deep breath and I take a walk or I for me, it's watching a show. Like I have to be totally distracted and relaxed, have a breather, and then I can get back to the art. So you've got to kind of figure out what that is for you. But I think it's like almost distraction. I hate that, but it kind of is. And it's not that you aren't dealing with the problem, because I suspect you have. Like I'm thinking about all sorts of negative thoughts. I'm thinking about like contentions with other people. I'm thinking about comparison with other people. Some people, and I know this is the thing for me, and this is like just a little gem about me that I don't think I really share, is that I have post-traumatic stress disorder. And so there was always a negative running commentary in my head before I got a lot of therapy. And I remember waking up like 3 months after I'd done all this intensive therapy in my 20s. And like literally I woke up and I noticed that the voice was gone. It was crazy. Like I sat up and I remember turning to my husband and saying, she's gone. Like that voice is gone. Like that negative commentary, it's just like totally gone. Like I don't even know where she went. And a lot of that just takes a lot of work. Now, maybe you don't have like a truly like specific like I had, where it was just like this negative running commentary. You're not good enough. You could do better, like work harder, that kind of thing. Maybe you have just other negative influences, like including people in your life who are saying negative things to you. And it doesn't even have to be outright negative. That's the amazing thing about the weird world of negativity. Have I said negative enough in this episode, you guys? This is like the crazy thing about like all these words that are put in front of us. I have people in my lives that will say things I don't think they mean for it to be negative, but then they'll say something and I will totally doubt the thing that I was going to do. And I'm like, Carina, why are you doubting? You know who you are. You know what you do. They have no idea what you do. Why are you listening to them? And sometimes we do have to have that little talk with ourselves, because we're creative individuals. If you are listening to this podcast, I suspect you are a creative individual, okay? I hope you are. And why are you letting these people who don't know your craft, who don't know your design work, who are not makers, who don't have the resilience that you do, why are you letting them talk you into not doing the thing that you were going to do? I ask myself that question all the time. And it's usually a lot of things not even related to design, but I'm like, Carina, you know yourself. You know yourself. And you let a couple of people talk down or talk to you in such a way that you totally changed your mind and made a decision that wasn't true to you, okay? If this is you, you can raise your hand silently in your car while you're listening to this or wherever you are, okay? I understand that. I know it. And sometimes it is the people we love the most who are doing this to you. And I know there are a few of you, it's a spouse, it's a family member, it's a very close friend, and it's very difficult to turn that voice off, okay? So I'm not going to tell you have to get rid of that person, right? We've got to figure out ways to either communicate for them to be more positive or helpful in our lives, or we have to figure out a way to give ourselves some boundaries, because I would love to say that like every one of those comments that come towards me that I could just shield, like I built a little wall and I can deflect them. But that's just not the case. Especially as a creative community, we tend to also be pleasers, especially makers. Like we love for people to love our work, right? We like part of the joy of what we do in life is like we love making the work and we love for people to enjoy our work. Like it's so fun. Like that is a huge part of why I'm a designer. Like all that temporary satisfaction of creating something new and then other people enjoying it. It is like seriously the best dopamine hit ever. And so when we have these people kind of like saying these things that are just like, it's like a little bit of a poke, like just a little bit of a tap, some of it always infiltrates a little bit through, okay? So what my big suggestion is going to be is do your best to surround yourself with people who do create and make all this positive, wonderful energy, okay? People who are your like huge cheerleaders. For me, like the ones closest to me, like I know my sisters and my husband. My husband's actually, he is the king of this. He is really good at this. And that is like whenever I tell him a new plan, and sometimes they're crazy, like I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna do this. You know what he does? He's like, I wish you could see Josh, because he'll clap his hands and then he'll be like, that sounds great. Or yeah, do it. Like he doesn't miss a beat. And I think part of my success has come from him being such a huge supporter. Same with my sisters. Like they will always be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's so cool. Yes, you should do that. You should go for it. And when you surround yourself by people who are like, yes, go do that, how do you not like want to just continue to create, right? Make bigger, better, more wonderful, make so many wonderful designs. It's an addicting thing. It is for me anyway. So surround yourself the best you can with those positive, wonderful influences, and minimize where you can people who will throw doubt your way. And I don't think they mean to do it. I think you know what I'm talking about. I don't think they mean to do it. Usually when I hear those doubtful words, I am thinking in my head, oh, that's like, flip that around. That's what they're thinking in their heads to themselves. Like what we say, what we do, and what we say for around us, to the people around us, is a reflection of what's happening internally as well, right? So not always, but a good portion of the time. So if we're paying attention closely to what people are saying, you have to recognize that they themselves are very doubtful of themselves, or maybe they're not risk takers, or maybe they are fearful of their own inability to create. Who knows? But you just have to take that for what it is, maybe justify why they say or do the things they do, and then do your best to continue to create, okay? So hopefully this helped you. If you are in a creative block right now, I am sorry. I know you're going to be able to work through it. All of us have little blocks once in a while that kind of stop us from making and creating. And what I would say to you is you probably need a break. That's what I suspect. Or you're up against something where you don't have clarity. That's the other thing that happens to me. If I don't have clarity, and so I don't know what the next step is supposed to be, I get very frustrated and very angry. And I would say the best thing you can do for yourself is make a decision quickly. I think decision making and decision fatigue is a real thing. Like decision fatigue, oh my gosh, I can't talk, is a real thing. So if you can make your decisions very, very quickly and move on as quickly as you can, oh my gosh, then I think the creativity will flow, because then you can just go for it. And to me, the worst thing that can happen in a decision is what? You can lose time. You can maybe lose some money. But I think that's kind of about it, right? Those are the resources that I kind of care about and worry about. And the truth is, if I lose a little bit of time, I find that it's okay, because I've usually learned something in the process, right? I've given myself my own education. If I lose a little bit of money, I have to chalk it up and realize like that was also for my own good. What would I have paid to get that experience, right? So try to think about it as things that are for you and move forward. Do your best to move forward. Take a little break, get a little distracted. And like when you see, my favorite is in the movies or in a TV show. I was just thinking about the most recent one. I'm not going to name it, but like they're looking through the files, they're doing all the things, and like they can't figure it out. And so then they go sit down and they're starting to eat lunch, and they're just talking about the random things in the world, right? They're just talking. And then suddenly there's a moment where one of the characters has an aha moment, right? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? They have an aha moment and they're like, oh. and then they get up and walk away and they immediately know what the next direction is. Like that's what taking a break really does for you, or taking a nap, or getting enough sleep, or like those things are bring you energy, right? Because you are then relaxing, you're gathering the energy you need, and suddenly your brain will click. Like that energy will click and the solution will come, or the creativity will come, and suddenly you'll feel the motivation and need to create again. All right. I hope this was helpful. And thank you so much for joining me in this podcast. We are just in the first month of it. And so many of you have been so kind. You're listening, you're hearing all the things. And if you want to learn more, you can find it all at carinagardner.com. But what would really help me out is, will you leave me a review? I'm trying to continue this podcast. I would love to give you all the creative, all the design, all the maker things. And what really helps me is if you leave me a review. So that would be awesome. I can't wait to see you next time. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.